Hey writers, today you're going to be looking at open genre immersion again, but we are going to be looking specifically at the author's purpose and why this text is written. So just to review, last week we started looking at narrative and you guys wrote a short narrative, some informational and explanatory writing, and then we had opinion and argumentative. You guys dappled in all of these last week. So now we're going to be looking at what is the author's purpose. All right, so we have persuade, inform, entertain. So, thinking about the purpose for writing this is to reach a specific audience in the end. So, your first task today is that you are going to be reading to explore the genre, purpose, and audience of a text. So, you're going to start with this text called The Running Dream. And then you are going to answer the following questions on the discussion board that is attached. Okay, so you're going to click right here, and if you notice, it even pops up Tuesday, April 14th, genre and audience discussion. And it's all ready to go for you. All right, so I'm going to grab these questions, and I'm going to give you some stems to kind of work with to help you out. All right, so let's see. All right, so this is writing, and it is April 14th today. All right, so our questions that we have to focus on are, what genre did the author write in? So is this a narrative text? Is this an informational text? Is it an argumentative text? So the author wrote a blank text. And maybe even a little bit of how you know. So I know that it's a blank text because the author uses words like blank and blank. Let's just kind of give some reasoning there, okay? Next question that you guys have is, give an example of how the author could have written this in another genre. So whenever we were planning this as a team, I automatically thought of, well, hey, we've done work like this before. I know, like, even with my first graders, we were like, hey, let's write a book about baseball. And we were like, well, it could be a story about the first time I played baseball or the first time I hit a home run in baseball. Well, those could all be narratives. Or I could write an informational book about how to play baseball or how the game and the rules are all set up in baseball, or how baseball is a little bit different from softball. Those would all be informational books. But then if I get into argumentative or opinion, then I could start saying how softball should be as big as the major leagues. Okay, so then that would be like saying that softball has a potential to be better than baseball. Well, that would be argumentative. So looking at The Running Dream, what other genre could this author have written this in? And then give me a little example of what you think that would even be. So the author could have written a blank, so informational, opinion, narrative, text. It would have been called blank and would have been about, just kind of giving a description. So just, is it somebody's opinion about baseball? Is it opinion, just whatever would go with this Running Dream text that you guys are working on today. All right, so then who is the intended audience? Who is going to be reading this? Who's going to be listening to this? According to you, who do you think is the intended audience for The Running Dream? So we can simply say the intended audience, sorry about my spelling, is blank. And then maybe give me a reason. So because the author blank. Is the author speaking a certain way to where it sounds like it's very formal? Is it that they're speaking to the kids and kind of using common language? What's going on? Okay, so really looking at that and thinking about why is the author doing this? And then what's the intended purpose? So author's purpose. The author's intended purpose for the running dream is to, and right here I think of, is to inform, is to persuade, is to entertain, right? So is to blank, and then the audience, young people or old people or new readers or little kids about blank. Okay, so if we think the intended purpose for the running dream is to entertain school-age kids about maybe going through the everyday life. Notice that I'm not giving you the answers to this poem or to this actual text. Just know that. But I'm just kind of giving you some stems to go along with what you need to be writing today in that discussion, okay? So this is just kind of some general ideas of how you can analyze the running dream. And then also, when you go back and you look at your own writing, you're answering these same questions. So in your own writing, what genre did you write in? And then how do you know that? Do you have those same words that the author used? Does your text look like an informational text if that's what you are doing? Also, give an example of how the author could have written this in another genre. So if you wrote about COVID-19 and it was very informational, could you then write a narrative about living in this time dealing with COVID-19? Okay. And then who was the intended audience of your piece? Who were you speaking to? Who were you hoping would read that? And then what was the intended purpose? So the intended purpose for that was to inform, persuade, entertain. Who about what? All right, so hopefully this kind of gives you an idea of where to go with today's writing, and happy writing as always. Talk to you later.